Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. That's right, guys. Beverly Hills Cop is back. The fourth installment in the Beverly Hills franchise. Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Streaming only on Netflix. This is a streaming only movie. Eddie Murphy is back as Detective Axel Foley. Um, Set 30 years later after Beverly Hills Cop 3 in 1994, I believe was when the third one came out. And before this movie came out, I just recently started, or finished, I would say, watching the original three Beverly Hills Cops for the first time before this movie came out. And after watching these three movies for the first time, I really enjoyed these movies. These movies were so much fun. I love the cop type films, like in Bad Boys, right? I really love the Bad Boys franchise. You guys know how much I loved Bad Boys, right? Ride or Die. Really enjoyed that one. Like it's similar here, a cop type film here, but Detective Axel Foley is back. A lot of the original cast are back here. Um, Axel Foley's daughter is in this one as well. Is in this one, and it just felt so good to be back, to see Eddie Murphy back as this character, because he really it kind of feels like Eddie Murphy really loves playing Axel Foley, and I thought that is what it should have been done when Eddie Murphy returned as this character. You really want to see these actors come back playing as these legacy characters or franchises, whatever characters, and I want them to have fun. Like, want them to say, yeah, you know what? I am excited to be back as this character that I played 30 plus years ago, or 10 years, or however long it's been. And Eddie Murphy brings that charm, that charisma. Eddie Murphy himself, he brings himself in here. We all know how Eddie Murphy acts. We all know how he plays, how he is a comedian, and how comedic he is. And he brought that in the 80s, and he brings that here. There's a lot of the 80s that he brings in here that's a little bit like cheesy, but it works so well, right? Because since those movies were like in the 80s, late 90s, you know, I mean, those comedic act or ways that were in those movies are way different than this now, right? So he does bring that in, but mixed with this new comedic from the 2020s or whatever the case may be, and it works so well, and I'm glad that it did. You know what I mean? Sometimes when they bring franchises back, that I talk about a lot is, do we need another movie of this? Why? Why they made another one, right? I always talk about how I didn't think that we needed another Toy Story 4, right? When Toy Story 4 was announced, I asked myself, why? If Toy Story 3 ended perfectly well, it was a perfectly ended trilogy, right? Then we got Toy Story 4. I enjoyed Toy Story 4, but I kind of felt like the story for Toy Story 4 was unforgotten, right? I didn't like the story that they met with Toy Story 4. So every single time I watch Toy Story 4 is like my least favorite, but I enjoy all four Toy Stories, right? And then obviously now we're getting a Toy Story 5, and the same question is, why another Toy Story, right? The same thing happened with Toy, right? So we got another Indiana Jones movie 15 years later with Dial of Destiny, which a lot of people did not enjoy. I quite enjoyed it, and I had a great time with Dial of Destiny. It was great to see Harrison Ford back as Indiana Jones, right? Playing that character 15 years later from Crystal Skull, which obviously Crystal Skull was not a great movie, but the other three were amazing films. So it's the same here with Eddie Murphy coming back, playing a iconic character that he's known as, right? And he worked very, very well. Eddie Murphy has not changed his look since the 80s or whatever, right? He still looks the same. A little bit older, Eddie, right? He's now in his 60s now, a little bit older, but he still has the charisma, the charm that he had in the 80s now in 2024. Judge Reinhold, is back as Detective William. John Hashton is back as Detective John Taggart. Taylor Page is Jane in this one. Kevin Bacon's in here as Captain Cade Grant, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt is also in here as Bobby Abbott. The premise is Detective Axel Foley is back in the beat of Beverly Hills after his daughter Jane life is threatened. She and Foley team up with a new partner, Gordon Levitt, as an old pals Billy Rosewood and Taggart turn up the key and uncover conspiracy. The dynamic, the trio is back, right? Foley, Taggart, and Rosewood, all those three trios from the 80s, right? That were in the original three films are back in this one. And when you see them, all three of them together as a trio in Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, it brings back so much memories. And it's like, oh yeah, you know what? The trio's back. The legendary trio's back. They worked so well together as all three, and they look all good 30 years later, right? And so they have some minor roles, right? I think those two uh, uh, Rosewood and Taggart, right, has small roles, but they're in it, right? Obviously, Eddie Murphy is the detective. Foley, right? Axel Foley, right, has a bigger role, but they just have minor roles. But it's very, very great to see them back. It brings back the what Beverly Hills Cop is and expands it very, very well. You know what I mean? A lot, like I said, a lot of these legendary or legacy sequels, or whatever you want to call them, don't do well or not great. But this one, they found out they worked very, very well. It worked so well that I enjoyed uh, what they did with this movie. Um, it's like I said, streaming only on Netflix. Um, what I was gonna say this: the theme song of this one is very, very catchy. Like I said in explaining this video, I really enjoyed the theme song in this one. And this one, I remember this. This was a movie um, that was talked about for so many years, right? I remember hearing news about Beverly Hills Cop 4 in like the 2010s and early days. And even though I never seen those movies at that time, I did not know what Beverly Hills Cop was at that time. So the fact that this movie has been in the works for so many years and finally 30 years later to bring back Beverly Hills Cop, I think this was a perfect time to bring back Beverly Hills Cop. I think they brought it back in a very perfect time. Um, this is a movie that you should watch on Netflix. And I think you're gonna enjoy this movie. Your whole family will enjoy this movie. Um, like I said, it brings back nostalgic from the 80s. You feel like you're in the 80s again watching this movie. And I think by them making it feel like you're in the 80s again worked so well, right? Worked very, very well. Very well. Um, and the like I said, the comedy worked very, very well. It was worked very, very well. They did not go overboard with comedy. I think they perfectly they timed it very, very well. They worked. You're gonna laugh a lot in this movie, um, and yeah, I think that uh, the action, the very great action packed this movie is, and I really enjoyed that it was that very great action packed. Uh, the this movie just delivers so well. um, it delivers so well that it was worth the 30-year wait. It was worth the wait for 30 years. Like I said, it was a perfect time to bring this franchise back. I saw that they already have a fifth movie in the works already. For Beverly Hills Cop 5 is already in the works. Eddie Murphy just obviously confirmed it, and I think that's very, very well. You know what I mean? I talk about how franchises, there are some franchises that could go past three, or that should stay at three films, like Toy Story. But I think Beverly Hills Cop is a franchise that could go past four. And how I explained in Bad Boys Ride or Die, my review for that, is that if they were make a Bad Boys 5, I won't be upset. I'll be down for it, right? Because I'm down for more Bad Boys, right? Because there are some times where I was like, you know what? I think they should end it here. No, I'm down for another Bad Boys, right? So if they ever announce a Bad Boys 5, I'm down for them to make Bad Boys 5 or 6. And so for the fact that they're already having Beverly Hills Cop 5 in the works already, I think that works very, very well. I'd be totally be down for another Beverly Hills Cop. Maybe if they make another trilogy up to 6, I'll be totally be down. I talked about how them doing a Shrek 5 and how excited I am for another Shrek. And I was like, you know what? Never thought about them doing another Shrek. But I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind another Shrek. And that works very, very well. It depends on that, what type of franchise, what type of film it is. And I think with them doing another Beverly Hills Cop 5 in the works already, just claims that they're very passionate and this movie and they're confident of how this movie turned out to be, and it worked. And I think they should be very excited to how Beverly Hills Cop Axel F turned out to be. And so I'm excited for Beverly Hills Cop 5. I'm excited for more Detective Foley, Axel Foley here. Like to see that trio again, right? And hopefully we get to see Joseph Gordon-Levitt back in this one, because him being in this one worked very, very well. I think that's it for my review. I think you should go check this out. If you have not watched the original 3, go watch it right now. The original 3 is streaming only on Paramount Plus. I got Paramount Plus again to watch these movies again. Then I canceled Paramount Plus. I canceled my subscription. So, but Beverly Hills Cop 4 is on Netflix. I think the first 2 are only on Netflix. But if you want to watch the third one, you have to go on Paramount Plus. That's what I did. And I just canceled my subscription after watching the third movie. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to thumbs up, subscribe if you guys like. Thank you guys so much for you guys' continuous support on my YouTube channel. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out. Dun, 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 dun.